life. So let us start our journey. How to convert that journey of meditation into daily life so that we continue to think, speak, and act in that state of meditation. Is it possible? We have to see what are the steps and how it can work in our daily lives. So we all are seekers. Now seekers should rise above the common herd. First, don't forget Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahi Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvisha Vahi. So we have to remember the meaning of this verse because it helps me to return to that state of consciousness. You see that, first five major steps: qualified seeker, approaching the teacher and the knowledge, listening and learning. So all the three steps are hidden into it. I'm not going there. You should have 360-degree understanding, four connections, Mangalacharan, everything is hidden in it. So if it is hidden into it, then ask yourself, did you practice the japa? Did you practice the japa? The way the Samir was saying that I repeat the practice 10 or 15 times. So in both ways, it is good. 15 times, I was lacking that awareness of the japa, and 15 times I become aware of the. Normally, what happens? We become aware of hesitation, we become aware of duality, we become aware of the conflict. Why? Because of the vasana. What is vasana? You already know. All those past impressions accumulated in the storehouse of the mind. We have already done. So now you see the entire chain, we need to break it. We need to break this chain. And that is why we have understood pranayama, pratyahara, second practice, viveka, or discernment, third practice, fourth is the japa, and the fifth is the meditation. You can say the japa is a pre-meditation, or you can say the japa is a beginning of a meditation, or you can say meditation number one, japa, final, is what we are learning and understanding. That is another way. Oh? So japa I have taken from one text, and then the meditation, I told you that I have taken it from the Gita, so that we have a fairly intellectual understanding. We should have a clear intellectual understanding, and then we will see how this intellectual understanding can help me live in a higher awareness. So, in the background, you already know the four groups, how the world is causing the suffering, and how the world consists of those 9 factors. What is the remedy? Satsang. So, satsang includes not only the viveka, it includes my recognition of the delusion with reference to the journey of meditation. So I move from the delusion and duality to discernment and dispassion. Whenever the time comes, whenever there is an opportunity, whenever there is a situation, we have to follow this. It means, why by listening and learning, you become instantly aware. Oh, Ah, my mom is crazy. No, no, mind, don't say this. Don't do this. Cool down, calm down, live into that awareness. And then what happens? Your expression to the mom changes. Mom, you're right. You're right. I will talk to you later. That level of awareness, when the world attacks me, the emotional dependence or intellectual paralysis or unexamined life or lack of awareness, I switch on either to understanding or the easiest way in the beginning you will find. Oh, mom is crazy. No, no. Huh? Shantoham, Shantoham. You mentally you are saying Shantoham. You have replaced that. So you are changing those impressions. It may take time. Can it happen in a day? No, it cannot happen in a day. You have to do this japa practice all the time. What exactly we are doing? I'm trying to make you understand clearly that we are trying to do is that we are invoking the righteous intellect. Um, for example, mom is crazy for herself, not for me. Why I have to do? Why I have to react? So that sort of awareness is the power of discernment. And from the power of discernment, you get the righteous intellect. Had it been possible in your life, try this. So the righteous intellect, so we have a dispassion intellect, we have a love intellect. Why? How the love intellect? Now there is a emotional dependence on any object, person, issues in the world has dissolved, but emotion will remain there. How can you can get rid of the emotion? So it is the pure emotion, and that is through the intellect I recognize this love intellect, and then I give it a chance to work. And the last one is the real self intellect. So if your intellect is settled in the real self intellect, I would say 100% you are already into the meditation. Do you need to practice? No, you don't need to practice. You are already in that state. I'm breaking up into different parts so that, oh, righteous intellect, dispassion intellect, love intellect, then what is left? Ah, there is a real self comes in front. But that works because you are constantly pursuing the path of the japa and also constantly contemplating and reflecting on these principles. So, because you are constantly, your mind goes back to reflect on these principles, which take you to the power of faith. Now, you see, everything is happening in the intellect. So, intellect is being purified, or intellect or mind, the power of decision. Should I react to this situation or should I take this situation easy? Look at it. It is the power of decision, but the power of decision comes from the power of faith. So once you have that awareness, the intellect pushes you to a new level of awareness, the power to hold on the mind to any mantra or to a higher level of awareness, to peace or to joy, as you all have started sharing. And then what happens to power to hold on and power to regulate? So that power to regulate the mind and the intellect will take us to the higher meditative state. Higher meditative state. This is what. Now see this another this intellect. You will understand the intellect, how the intellect or the mind, both are starts shining. Shining in awareness, you take it casually. The things are happening outside. Maybe you have affiliated with a particular party and that politician has some problem, but now the intellect has taken it unbiased, not with the strong likes and dislikes. You're not excited if someone is winning, someone is, oh, so do I need an excitement? No, I don't need an excitement. I need a clarity in my life. I need a wisdom in my life. I need a wisdom in my life. Intellect, that is what is known as the intellect becomes famous. And then what happens? When it becomes famous, your emotional dependence is replaced by emotional freedom. You still love, but now this love is devoid of binding desire. Binding desire. That is where I'm not going there. Many masters says love expressed outside, unconditional love expressed outside, it becomes a compassion. We'll talk about that compassion later. And if you remember the crow's ability to adaptability, the swan's ability to focus, the dog ability to sleep and alertness, and then we check our diet, which is measured, and we live a kind of a detached life. Detached life does not mean that you are totally aloof and indifferent. You are more engaged with a clarity, with love, with care. Why I spoke all these steps? I'm giving you another perspective so that you can remember. You can remember the 5E. All the entire process has 5 steps. First E is engagement. Then instead of I engage myself into anger and hesitation, I am engaging myself into these principles internally, mentally, and emotionally. And it can happen anytime. Engagement. So when you are engaging, obviously, you are trying to move the mind to a state of discernment. So that then there is a clarity. Oh, I need not to do this, I need to do this. Righteous intellect. Now you are educating the mind, training the mind to live with these principles. The second E. Understand the first 3 E. First E is engagement. So you engage your mind. And that is why listening and learning, even twice a week or thrice a week, which help you to remain engaged in these principles. Even if you forget, you remind yourself. So first is the engagement that you already remember. We engagement physically with a couple. I have an engagement tomorrow. So like this, you engage. So that engagement has to do with mental clarity and emotion, with these principles. So then what happens? The intellect is ready to educate the mind, technique, tools. Oh, how many times you remember the japa? Oh, 10 times. Very good. Third is the empowerment. So you are applying these principles on your mind and you are empowering the mind. How you empower the mind? You have a subjective assessment. Oh, today I was totally angry and agitated. I wanted to react, and then I remember the principle, and then I calm down. Just remembering these principles? Answer is yes, it will happen. It will happen. So it means you are rising in awareness, empowerment. You empower the mind. You empower the impure mind. You empower The mind which causes the world is suffering, all those 9 factors. That is another. And then what happens? So until the empowerment, you recognize now it is possible. There is a tremendous faith in the intellect, in the mind, that I continue the journey. And the fourth E is the evolution. What is evolution? Evolution is a change. So in growth also there is a change. In development there is also a change. In evolution there is a change. No, but what is the difference between the growth? Plants grow, we develop, and the seeker evolves. Does that make a sense? Let me make it clear. Plants grow, unidirection. We develop, so we both have the horizontal as well as the vertical movement. And what is evolution? Evolution, rise in consciousness. You jump into the higher consciousness. From that state, you perceive the world. What I have to do getting engaged in the action? There is no need. No, but my ego hurts. Let the ego be hurt. Let the ego be hurt. So you hurt your ego internally more and more to clean your mind, to purify it. That is very important part of the journey of the meditation. And then what happens? Fifth one is the enlighten. So when we say use the word enlighten, it contains the 3 things. Awakening, you awaken to the tremendous presence inside. You realize that it has not come from the mind in the past impression. Oh, there is something internally. There is a tremendous presence. Aurobindo says it is a spark of consciousness. Or you can easily say that spark of the real self is now visible, now evident, now experienced, which is different from the mental phenomena. That is where I categorize it under the enlighten. Enlighten, awakening. So once you get tuned to that presence, which you will experience, it is beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, beyond the words. You have such a tremendous presence. So people use different words for it. I'm not going into that mysticism. It is very clear that we awaken to that presence, we grow into that presence. How you grow into that presence? Your past impression is of hesitation, getting agitated on a small issue. You grow into that presence, that hesitation melts away, dissolves. That is one way to say it. You don't want any obstacle on the path of the self-discovery because now you are a higher seeker. So realization, or you can use the word spiritualization, because that presence is already there. That presence always keeps your intellect into those 4 categories: righteous intellect, dispassion intellect, dispassion, righteous intellect, dispassion intellect, love intellect, and you will realize, oh, it pushes me. It pushes me. So we have to experience that. Not only we have to experience, but we have to apply in our daily life. You continue to apply these principles and it will happen on its own. So the 5E is beautifully explained by our Master Krishna in the Gita. So he says, Kam Krodha Viyuktanam Mind used to get attached to agitation, duality, and a conflict now has gone because I have a recognition that delusion is suffering. First part of the verse. Second part of the verse, satsang remedy. Remedy is the satsang. Seeker is self-discipline. Why self-discipline? You follow these simple principles every day. Your reminder is there. And that is what the self is. He uses the word seeker is self-discipline. The third is the intellectual clarity is there. Now with the reason, cause and effect, intellectual clarity about the real self is there. Clear? So when that is clear, then what happens? Intellectual clarity about the real self is there. So you hold on that knowledge into your mind all the time. Are you getting it? Yesterday you were single. Today you are married. Mind subconsciously is very clear today. It normally holds on that thought, that knowledge, that idea, isn't it? Are you single or married? If someone asks you, yes, married, instantly, even if you want to hide, it jumps. Your intellect jumps on that. So that kind of an understanding, or you can say an awareness, enters into your head. Intellectual clarity that there is a real self all pervading, and then you hold on to that real self. When? All the time. All the time. That is really a leap, the next higher step in the journey of transformation. Thing. So your mind is very clear, or your intellect is very clear. You have drawn the map. Oh, this is how the map of the entire 5E is working in my life. If it is not working, then there will be some challenges are still left. The doubt is still left. So we have to get rid of those doubts. Example, simple example. The world entirely is suffering. The world I have created in my life for myself is suffering. Otherwise, the outer world, the way it is not. It has nothing to do with the suffering, and that is because of the ignorance and impurity of the mind. So you remember that. That is very important. A reminder. And if that reminder is not, the moment you have a reminder, you will start with the japa. I gave you one example. Intellectual clarity is there. Oh, real self is all pervading. Oh, it is still there. It is still in the midst of my anxiety, my reaction. Are you getting it? And the moment you remind yourself, oh, like it changes you. So that is the verse number one verse. The second verse, now what happened? Sama, Dama, Uparama, and Titiksha. The four inner wealth of the mind manifest in our daily life. Sama, mind is 100% available, or you can say the mind has a tremendous calmness. You can easily withdraw your sense organs from that particular object. You are not at all uh, worried about it. You are not craving for something. It is not unexamined life, it is fully examined. You have an ability to withdraw the mind from any object, any person, at any given time. I'm talking of the inner wealth. So first, one wealth is the sama, second wealth is the dhamma, third wealth is the uparama. Now you instantly recognize this pasta, that car, this house do not contain the property of happiness. You, as if you go beyond the pleasure seeking mind. So what do you mean that should I leave the car? No. That connection, done unconsciously of attachment, of emotional dependence is gone. You use the car, you like the car, you like the pasta. But internally you have that awareness by which you are empowering the mind. 30. Fourth one, titiksha. Sometime it is not possible to withdraw the mind. You may ask me. Yes, then we have the fourth inner wealth. It is known as the endurance. I gave you some glimpse of that endurance. Continue breathing. And if the mind does not listen to you, ask your intellect, please continue. The intellect says to the mind, I will continue. So one day you will step into the joy of doing it and you will change. But it takes time. The transformation takes time. Do you see that? That is what happens in our samadhamma, so the four treasures of the mind. And the, once you apply these four treasures in any situation in your personal, professional, and social life, your mind starts living within and moving within. So I just gave you the glimpse. We will continue with this verse number 27 from Krishna, and we'll complete in our next session. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed and you're comfortable. Very good. The place, the position, and the posture. A seeker instantly recognizes and enters into the right place, the right posture, the right position, being comfortable and being carefree. Being comfortable and being carefree. Very good. And now you already know Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. Now, can you reflect on it? Sarvesham. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. Just think and contemplate. Use your intellect. May there be peace for all. In what way you do it, that is your wisdom. No, even after listening from me, it doesn't make any difference. But you You understand it. Oh, this is how I have to do it. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all, a sense of completeness. It's a reminder. It's a deconditioning of the mind which says that I am limited. That you can also see from that perspective. And now, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all, auspiciousness for all. I'm trying to keep that reminder in your head and to help us evolve. Now, that is the stage one. You recognize as a horizontal movement the space outside, body is there. You're aware of the body, which is still in calm. Then you have the breath, which is also, you see that horizontal. We are moving horizontally. Very good. And then after the breath, we have the thought, feeling, and emotions. Very good. And after that, there is an I-ness or the intellect. Very good. And beyond that intellect, try to keep your awareness. Can I bypass all these? So beyond the intellect cannot become the object. That we have to remind ourselves. Oh yes, that I'm reminding. And I'm not able to make out. Oh yes, so let us move to the stage number two. Looking inside the forehead in the space, Om Shanti, you instantly start dropping the Om Shanti into the space and then start breathing. Quick and short breath into your rib cage. Continue breathing into your rib cage. Body is in the state of the stillness. You continue breathing into the rib cage. Om Shanti continues. Om Shanti continues. So everything is falling on the right place. Whose job is this? Righteous intellect. Did you understand? Continue breathing, dropping Om Shanti deep inside the forehead into the space, and then see what happens. Intellect is there. If the mind deviates, you have a righteous intellect. You have endurance. When you say, I can do it for 50 minutes and half an hour, the mind is not purifying itself. But here we are 100% clear why we are doing it. Now leave this breathing. Observe. Who is observing? The intellect wants to know how the breath returns to the normal pattern of breathing. Who does it? And at the same time, we are aware of the flow of the breath. We are aware of the flow of the breath. And you already know, we are also understanding if the flow of the breath is equal to both the nostrils or not. Even if it is not, we continue our attention there. We continue our attention there. Why? According to the Krishna, he says your eye, third eye, right perception should take over. That is the meaning of the third eye. Now you see that when you become aware of the horizontal movement, that is what I say, you will experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness, calmness, and quietness. You can stay for a longer period in that state of the quietness. That quietness is different and independent of the noise in the mind. That reflects us a new state of awareness. So, what normally, let us look, feel the sensation in the body. Very good. Sensation in the body, relaxation in the physical, and the stillness. And then we explore inside the body, not the bones and the blood. Has less to do with the inside the body. It has to do with the rise in awareness. But how we signify it, you look inside the body, and when you explore the sensations in the body, that sensation which gives you a sense of calmness. And deep inside that calmness, there is a state of the quietness. You may experience there are a lot of thoughts, but too far from you to disturb you. You enjoy seeing them different, separate from you. That is different from being indifferent. You are enjoying. So that is what the step I have added. So any moment, any time, if you are able to withdraw the mind horizontally from outside to inside, you have started examining the cause of the problem in that situation, in that condition, in that relationship. And then what we did, the nyasa, look at the breath, start breathing deep, silent, and slow. So we want to keep the mind within. I've already explained you what it means, mind living with. So as you inhale, the mind moves from the top center of the head to the tailbone, singing mentally. "Om Shanti." Your Shanti ends at the tailbone during inhalation. During exhalation, you again begin with Om. Mind rises from the tailbone, reaches to the top center of the head. Shanti. Your mind moves in between these two centers. In Tantra, we say that there are three energy pathways. All the three energy pathways actually meet inside the forehead and also inside every chakra and reaching to the tailbone. We'll understand that, but just continue the journey. Om Shanti. You will experience there is a sense of freedom, my friends. Your mind is thinking to absorb itself with Om Shanti. This also becomes a pranayama because you are breathing deep, silent, and slow. So a higher seeker does not remain conditioned by the breathing practices of the Hatha Yoga. That seeker discovers how a particular pranayama can work in my life. Now, during the practice, if your body moves, mind wants to go out. In the beginning, it is required to understand. After that, whether your body moves or not, your mind is already absorbed, independent of the body, the breath, the mind, and the intellect and the ego. It's always intermovement. And now leave this third stage. I created a three stages. Third stage is almost a passive state. Look at the 16 segments of fingers and drop Om Shanti on each segment and see how the mind and the intellect moves into the higher state. One more understanding when you are dropping the Om Shanti in the 16 segments, I told you there is a natural pratyahara. You were drawing the senses. So natural pratyahara takes place when all the senses are working within. It does not, it does not push you to perceive the world outside. That is why I said it's a mind's eye. It is the mind's ear. It is the mind tongue. So then there is no need to move the body at all. And you experience that. There is a sense of and now leave this, look at inside the cave of your heart. And I specifically say there is a reason for it. Look at the triangle inside the cave of your heart. Very good. And now move the mind on each side of a triangle, just dropping Om Shanti, Om Shanti. And you discover the thing. At this moment, the mind is able to think the side of the triangle, Om Shanti, and the movement of the mind. Why we need to think, we need to understand the thing so that we can take the mind to a vertical movement. Because the intellect is very clear about it, and the intellect now rules the mind. The mind is already horizontally within, so it becomes a natural journey. And when you find the sync, I told you, push the mind with singing. Om Shanti. So you normally, while saying the Shanti, and you see the mind is totally absorbed, a kind of self absorption. What does it mean by that self absorption? The object of meditation and the meditator, they both merge. That is what the absorption is. We'll talk about it. And the moment the mind returns to its daily activities, we go back to the triangle again. We find the sink, and after finding the sink, continue So when we use all the steps consciously, this is what happens when we follow all these steps in meditation. The kind of self absorption. Does your mind says, what the heck, how long I have to do it? You can recognize it is that kind of a delusion because it wants you to make you aware of the time. No way. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. will share our experiences. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thank you. So I decided to apply the lesson today, like directly to the meditation in the sense of taking it easy. And it was interesting to go through the process because I thought at the beginning that, I was calm and settled, but as the meditation went on, I realized that I was still kind of gripping in like there were layers to it, I guess is what I'm getting at. Yeah, so I think sometimes I walk around and I think I'm approaching things from a calm place, but I'm really not, including like right here in meditation. But it was a really nice deep meditation once I kind of got there.
Beautifully said. And you raised the point, and let me put it in a context that the intellect with discernment and dispassion is always easy, always natural, always receptive. And that takes us to a higher state of meditation. So all our masters have been trying again and again, please follow this discernment and dispassion. So if you have these two treasures in the intellect, the things are always easy. We make it complex because of the delusion. Beautifully said. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. The lesson today, I really enjoyed the lesson. The 5 E's are something I'm going to go back and reflect on quite a bit. As far as the meditation itself, I found myself immediately when we started the fast breathing, just getting really absorbed inside, and I had a very, very, very good deep meditation. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes. As David is saying, we should all reflect engagement. So find out how this word is used in our daily life, engagement. So should I engage with my mind with emotional freedom, or should I engage my mind with an emotional dependence? Simple. Engagement, education. Oh, should I educate my mind, or mind is educating me of attachment, of delusion, of duality? This is how your intellect is working, and that's what makes one a great seeker. Beautiful, beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. The mind was settled and just being in the knowledge, nothing that was changing. So the meditation was really calm and deep and absorbed.
Beautiful. Yes, because nothing is disturbing. Fact is that no instrument in our life are inclined to disturb. We disturb ourselves. That is the main point. Why we disturb ourselves? Because of attachment, because of the delusion, because of the emotional dependence. Make it 100% clear. Beautiful. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. My meditation was very comfortable, natural, and effortless. At the end, there was a deep and dark space, and the mind settled so firmly in the end that your final Om Shanti chanting came as a surprise. The mind was not expecting it, was ready to continue remaining in that state for much longer.
Beautiful. You see that everyone having that deeper experience. The mind is not expecting anxiety. No, it is not expecting. Look at the understanding. Mind is expecting a reaction. No, not at all. Not at all. You think of that state and the other state, which is very common in the world, oh, I need to react. The way you said to me. That's a very subtle point he is raising. So all amounts to the same thing, a kind of self-absorption. So how are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. So mind was calm. In practice, it was like in a state of awareness, I have always a choice to what to have to select a thought which is peace and calm, or I have a thought choice if we can select something which is struggling or something like which is not making my mind at ease. So that way, it will always remain with me, and it makes my mind calm.
Yes, 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 you're right. In the beginning, discernment starts with the choice that we have two things: follow this or that. Righteous intellect says, follow what is right. You drop the other one. In the beginning, it is difficult. That is why the master says we should have a dispassion. But dispassion does not mean that we become aloof or indifferent. We are full, lively. We know this is going to take us to delusion, and this is going to take us to a dispassion. So that is another way to put it. Beautiful. How are you, Samir?
Sir, meditation was very good, very peaceful, and I think that listening is helping me a lot, because more and more I listen, it means I, whenever jealousy or hatred or any kind of thing pops up in my mind, then the examples and the what you call principles,
Yeah.
they neutralize that thing in my mind, and I am calm. So more and more I listen, more I start remembering these things, and at those times they they come up instantly on their own. Means
Beautiful. Yes, yes, I understood it. And it lays a tremendous importance on listening, repeat listening. So if the intellect is not bent upon evolving, it will not listen repeatedly. I've already heard it. I know what is this passion, and but I'm reacting.
sir, one thing I have noticed that if I listen repeatedly, before I used to get bored that I have listened to this thing. Now, if I listen 10 times a thing, I am not bored. I enjoy
Yes.
it every time. That is little bit happening with nowadays.
Beautiful. That is the right word. We say that is what the Shravan is. I have taught these principles maybe 1,000 times in the last 42 years, and every time I pick up the principle, I find there is something new. There is something different because it points to that higher consciousness. Beautifully said. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. Today, I noticed more detachment from the body in all directions, a deeper sense of higher consciousness, I guess, is what it felt like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, when there is a detachment, so there is delusion is also removed. Then there is an emotional dependence that is also gone. Obviously, that results into a state of a higher consciousness. But we have to think, speak, and act out of that higher consciousness 24/7. That is what we are into these sessions. Beautifully said. How are you, Terry?
Everything went a little better and a little easier than usual.
Good.
Just the breathing a little easier. The japa a little easier.
Good.
Oh, and then in the end, I felt like I had a pretty good meditative experience, even though all hell was breaking loose in my home. I was aware of it, but I was just thinking, oh my, this is ridiculous.
Yes, yes. This is the right way to understand what exactly is dispassion. Dispassion is not aloofness. Everything is going on and you are totally away from it. It
Yeah.
is very much in front of you, but you are not concerned. Beautifully said. How are you, Ashok?
Sir, everything fine, and mind is peaceful. And I mean, after the accident, there is a lot of problems coming up, but mind in peace and find a solution over that. So, I mean, that is
Yes,
a good thing.
yes, yes.
Yes,
Leave that accident. Accident has been in the past.
yes, yes, sir.
Prevent the
Thank you.
new accident may happen. So if you prevent your delusion, it will prevent the future accident also. That is all for today. Thank you very much. We
Thank
will
you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
meet
So,
Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.